Okay. So, as I said, my name is Faith and I'm from Servizio Europei Malta. In short, SEM. So we are a government agency and our role is primarily to act as a gateway to EU funds in Malta. So we make it easier to help individuals, NGOs and businesses to access different EU funding opportunities. Our services are based on 3 pillars that we inform, support and also engage. So our role is to inform you of these opportunities and then also to support you in applying for these opportunities as well. In a nutshell, our services range from information sessions such as these. We also offer training sessions. So if you're interested in learning how to apply yourself for EU funds, our funding team can provide their expertise and help you how to fill in an application and also with the implementation. So you can reach out to us and we can help you identify maybe upcoming training sessions. We also offer one-to-one meetings where we help you identify possibly your idea. We develop your idea and then help you identify the best funding opportunities for you. And then we can assist you even further, and we also assist with project implementation. As we know, your funds can be daunting when it comes to the implementation stage, procurement, etc. So we can assist you from that end as well. So when it comes to project development and writing, as I said, we can start with just the idea. So you come to us with an idea and we can assist you to develop it a bit further, make it more coherent, and also then identify a specific funding opportunity. It might be that you had an idea for a funding opportunity, but possibly there is somewhere another EU funding opportunity that would fit you better. So would help you in that respect. And also, we can also help you with the application process. However, this is tailored to the needs of the applicant organization. So we can provide you guidance as you go along. And then we can also provide support with the project implementation. So we have a lot of informative guidelines and documents on our website as well. It's sem.gov.mt. And there you can find these documents that can help guide you, even if now you're implementing a project, they can guide you from there. We help in all stages, whether it's procurement, reporting, etc. We have our executives who are ready to help. And we also facilitate communication with our colleagues over here from the Measures and Support Division, so we can be the liaison on your behalf if necessary. From our end, that's all. However, if you would like further assistance, you can always contact us at either to our website, where you can lodge, you can simply enter your request for a meeting. You can also register for interest. So, for example, in the future, you can receive up-to-date information on the different schemes that are being published, information sessions, events, training, etc. You can register your interest there. And then you can also contact us via email, info.sem@gov.mt, or by calling us. So that's all from my end. If you have any questions on our services, we can come back to them at a later point. Mark, would you like to start from your end?
Sure. I'm going just to share.
Sharing.
So, if participants could just confirm that they are seeing my shared screen, just to be sure that I'm not talking into the other. Okay. So, the scheme falls within the Recovery and Resilience Plan for Malta, wherein one of the interventions which can be financed is the digitalization of the private sector. And this particular scheme is specifically on assistance towards micro enterprises. In fact, the name of the scheme is Digitalise Your Micro Business. The overall budget is for 2 million. As explained, the enterprises which are eligible are those which are of micro size, and the maximum grant which can be awarded is for 10,000 euros. One can only apply successfully once under the scheme. So my recommendation would be, if you are considering to apply, have a good think about what items you can fit under a single application, whether it's multiple hardware items, multiple software items, or a combination thereof. The aid intensity is 50% for investments which are undertaken in Malta, with an additional 10% for investments undertaken in Gozo. This means that if your overall expenditure is 12,000, let's pick a more round number. If it's 10,000, you will get 5,000 euros back if you're in Malta and 6,000 euros back if you are in Gozo. And from a technical standpoint, this is state aid given under the de minimis state aid regime. So it will count towards your de minimis threshold. What is eligible to be financed? Commercial off-the-shelf software. And for software which is subscription-based, we will finance the subscription for a total of a 2-year period. IT hardware is also eligible. Items such as laptops, docking station, monitors, tablets, port replicator, and any other IT hardware, mice, keyboards, and what have you. Costs related to cloud computing, as well as any training costs related to the above 3 kinds of actions. It is important to keep in mind that we will only finance items which have started after signing the grant agreement. This means that first you have to apply with us, explain obviously what you mean and what you need it for, and before we give you the go-ahead, you cannot have bought or entered into a commitment to buy the item, which means that anything which has been bought already is not eligible for aid under the scheme. It is also important to point out that any ongoing costs cannot be financed. However, costs which will start after the grant agreement has been signed are naturally eligible. You have to finish the project within 3 months of the grant agreement having been signed. After all, this is a relatively straightforward process where you go out, buy the item, and then you're essentially done. And all applications will be assessed against the gateway criteria. We'll come to this in a little while. Here we are. The gateway criteria are the application naturally has to be complete and filled in correctly and in time. Then the correct documents need to have been uploaded. As outlined earlier, only micro enterprises are eligible. So if you are not a micro-sized enterprise, if you are small, then you cannot apply under the scheme. One has to keep in mind that it is not only the applicant entity which is taken into consideration, but to use an example, if I am applying under Mark Muscat Company Limited, but I also have Mark Muscat Enterprises, Mark Muscat and Sons, Mark Muscat Self-Employment, that would all be taken into consideration. So it is the totality of the undertaking, not just the applicant. There are also a very small amount of economic sectors which are not eligible, and it is important that the applicant is not operating in an ineligible sector. Naturally, only eligible activities can be applied for, and of course, the project has to be completed within, as explained, 3 months. And you cannot have started works before the grant agreement. If you are going to provide us, as some applicants have erroneously done, if you're going to provide us with invoices, then it stands to reason that the project has already been started and therefore you do not need our assistance. So the online application process is to register a user and create an application on svd.gov.mt, formulate and develop the application, upload the related documentation and submit it. And then you save the application and save everything, a soft copy of everything essentially. So what do you need to be eligible to apply? The declaration. A declaration is part of the application wherein you state that you agree with the terms and conditions, essentially. Tax compliance certificates. For all applicants, you will need to get in touch with the Commissioner for Revenue and provide a tax compliance certificate which confirms that you have not, you do not have any pending liabilities or returns for income tax and VAT, as well as FSS if applicable. NACE code confirmation. Earlier, I referred to the need to make sure that applicants are eligible for aid. We find we assess this through the NACE code. The NACE code explains in what activity, in what economic sector you are active, and you need to get confirmation either through your VAT registration certificate or by contacting the NSO. De minimis declaration. To get into a very slightly technical, the de minimis state aid regulations specify that an undertaking cannot receive more than 200,000 worth of assistance over a period of 3 years. And we ask you to list any aid that you have received over the past 3 years. If no aid has been received, just fill it in nil and submit it. We also require a single quotation for every item, so that we can make sure that the item that you are applying for and the amount that you are applying for is based on a market value. So if you apply to buy, for the sake of the argument, a laptop for 1,200 euros, you need to provide us a quotation of 1,200 euros, and then you go out, and once approved, you go out and buy it. When we say a quotation, we also accept a print screen or save as a PDF from an online retailer. However, we need the actual specifications to be included. You may also need a declaration of authorization if you are not a director of the company applying. It's really very common. We also require a certificate of registration and a memorandum of articles of association. This is also only needed if you are a partnership or a company. A declaration by a trustee or a fiduciary, again, if applicable, as well as the audited financial statements. Now, the reason that we say that it may be required is that for companies and partnerships which are older than 2 years generally, they will have had the obligation to submit their audited accounts, and we will be able to download them from the Malta Business Registry. This is obviously not the case if you are still starting out or if you are a self-employed individual. And if you are a self-employed individual, we will require a set of income tax returns from the past 2 years signed by a certified public accountant. The way that the scheme works is that we have 2 cutoffs, 2 deadlines every month. In fact, we have one this Friday, and then we have another one at the end of the month, 31st of September, then one in mid-October, and so on and so forth. And cutoffs have been published until the end of this year. The likelihood is that the scheme will be extended next year as well. You can find more information about the scheme on the Fondi.eu Business Enhanced portal, and the scheme in question is the first one on the second row. And within it, you will find several documents that you can download and peruse to assist you in the application process. From my end, essentially, this is pretty much it. I work at the Measures and Support Division, and we administer this scheme and a number of other schemes to assist SMEs, essentially. Our email address is msd.eufunds@gov.mt, and there is our website link over there as well. Now, let me see what questions have been put in the chat.
I think at this point we don't have any questions, Mark.
Okay.
However, if anyone wants to ask any questions now, feel free to raise your hands or just write in the chat box and we'll go over them now. From my end, I added the link to the Digitalize micro business scheme on Fondi.eu. And I think Patricia has raised her hand. You can go ahead, Patricia.
Fire away, Patricia.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, just to summarize. So first, we apply for the grant. Then it is accepted, let's say. Then we can buy the stuff, so laptop and whatever.
Yes.
And then after 2 months, we have the money back.
So it's
more or less.
more or less. The way that it will work is that Once you receive approval from our end, you have a maximum of 3 months to buy the item or items that you wish. Because you might, the same day that you sign the grant agreement, you might decide to go to the supplier and buy it. And then there will be some documents that you need to provide us to ensure that for us to confirm that everything was carried out in order. And we will also need to make a spot check to ensure that the items were actually bought and are actually in place and operational. At that point, you submit a claim for reimbursement, and once it is evaluated from our end and vetted, you will receive the money back. Now I'm just keeping it very, very straightforward. It is not a complex process. We are aware that micro businesses, they are small and they want to focus on their day-to-day. So we don't want to cause a lot of undue paperwork. But after all, these are public funds and EU funds, so there does need to be some kind of oversight. Something to keep in mind is that when an application is accepted and the individual or company come to sign the grant agreement, we will hold a very brief meeting with them, perhaps 5-10 minutes, to explain what is needed for us to be able to process the claim for reimbursement. It's nothing out of the ordinary, but we explain, we don't just let you put you at the deep end and let you swim. We give you an explanation of what is needed.
Okay, so I have another small question about the VAT. So the price of the item.
No, VAT is not eligible. So if a laptop costs 1,000 euros, but another 180 VAT, the eligible cost for us is the 1,000 euros.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I see there were another couple of raised hands.
Yes, I think it was Robert, right? Go ahead, Robert.
Yes, I just wanted to check whether there is a similar arrangement that Malta Enterprise have, in the sense that if we want to apply on behalf of clients for funds, so would the
there is nothing stopping you. There is nothing stopping you from creating an account on the SFD in your own name, and filling in the application on behalf of someone else.
All right. Okay.
I am aware that the SFD portal does not allow you to fill in as a practitioner, as a consultant, but you can fill in an application yourself on behalf of someone else. But the account will be yours at that point, naturally. I'm not sure if you seem a little bit.
Yes, because the setup that Malta Enterprise works perfectly. I mean, you register
but Malta
as a
Enterprise
practitioner.
are national funds. Ours are EU funds, and our portal has to allow access as well to the EU authorities, and therefore it is not as straightforward as just setting the system up. It has to work in the existing framework. We are aware of this issue, and it is in our intention to eventually have the same concept, but it's not as straightforward as just plugging it in.
So in with respect to the de minimis, what would happen there? Would the 200,000 appear on our firm instead of?
Because you are applying. The application is in the name of ABC Limited, and you are just the person who clicked the button to keep it simple.
Yes, okay.
Naturally, no. I mean, you would not enter into it because you are not the beneficiary of the funds.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Naħseb for now there aren't any more questions, but if anyone has any other questions, please go ahead.
It seems like the explanation was somewhat straightforward. I encourage everyone here to feel free to get in touch with us or with SCM if they have any questions specific to their project. and also to share it with their friends and colleagues. These are funds which are available for specifically the scheme was created specifically for micro enterprises to make it as easy and straightforward for these kind of enterprises to benefit from EU funds. So I encourage you to apply and to suggest it to your friends and colleagues.
Exactly. And from our end, we can assist you, especially following up on Patricia's question, when it comes to after the grant agreement, how to submit your claim, etc. We can help you from that end. The application, as Mark is saying, is quite straightforward. So feel free to reach out to us and we can assist you from our end. If anyone would like to request a meeting at this point, I've included the link to our feedback form. Just a couple of questions for your feedback on this session. And there you can also request a meeting to further discuss the scheme or anything else that you had in mind. That being said, if there are no more questions or if anyone else would like to intervene, we will stop here from our end.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. I mean, interesting. We will be reaching out to you to hold a specific meeting to discuss
Yes,
specific.
sure, no problem, no problem. Go ahead. Either on our general email or on the feedback form or on the website, feel free, anywhere.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot to all then. Good day.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.